Great love and blessings and peace, dear ones. As I come forward to you today from the ascended realms, there are many, many of us here with you. Great brother sisterhood of the Oversoul of humanity coming forward, along with many beings of other constellations, star systems, extraterrestrial star beings coming in, because this is a wonderful time upon the earth. And I know for some of you, you might think, oh, where are you? Where are you coming from, beloved Chung Fu? It's really hard upon the earth at the time, at this present time. And it's to understand, beloved ones, that's right, it depends where you look at it from. I am indeed in, you could say, the tide that is turning, the great tide that is coming in from the ascended realms of light. I am in that tide within you and within humanity, because there is no separation. We are not somehow coming from somewhere else. We are coming from within, as you are. And the tide is that tide of consciousness. And it is turning, beloved ones. It is turning so strongly. And what that really means is the divine presence is ever stronger upon the earth. And it is present in multiple ways, in multiple faiths, you could say, and appearances. And some of them perhaps you do not recognize. And perhaps you feel that there have been, in a sense, so much conflict, and you still experience this conflict amongst your society. And I do understand that. And of course, we know that conflict is like those waves that crash up against each other, but that altogether within all of it, there is something rising and changing, and that is the great wave of it. Even though within that some waves crash together, some ideas don't work together, and that unity, perhaps you can't feel it all the time. But we look from this greater perspective and we see the tide of awakening happening within human hearts and human minds. So today I would like to help you feel that tide, because the thing is, if you're a lot in your mind watching the attempts that are like rocks thrown in to stop the tide really from moving forward, as though there are beings who can change almost the weather and the elements and are trying to flex their muscles against this tide that is in fact unstoppable, for it is the divine coming forward within humanity. And there are many, many beings who are leading, and those leaders of thought and of understanding, those bringers of truth. And, they have been through a lot of initiations to be at this point where they are right now. And it is an unstoppable tide, beloveds. So take a breath and just be with me for just a few moments to realize and understand that word, to realize, to make real what is happening within your own being, what is happening within the whole of the earth and the whole of human consciousness. A very unusual time. A force of nature is rising within human consciousness. Sometimes it rises as anger and different kinds of emotions that seem negative. And not to worry about that, not to become attached to it, because it's going to move and move and move and keep changing. And that is the nature of the emotional body of humanity. It is tidal. It comes and goes. And in that sense, try to relax back into it. Try to let go. Try to be the force that is within the tide. So as we breathe together, feel your trust of the divine presence, that the energy is coming from the source and lifting up humanity. Take a big breath and feel yourself leaning back, letting yourself be carried by the tide, knowing that all is well. Whatever it may seem, when sometimes like a surfer, you judge the tide wrong and you just fall into the wave and for a moment you tumble. Don't worry, you will rise again. Because in this spiritual surfing, there is no death, there is just constant movement. There's constantly rising again, evolving to the height of your potential, right on top of the wave as that tide turns and the wave crashes to the shore, and you, however, are deposited lightly, and then you decide, I'm coming again on this tide. I'm bringing more understanding in. I'm bringing more courage. And feel yourself filling up with this power that is coming from the divine source to lift you up. Breathe, lean back, and enjoy the ride. And understand that you never have been abandoned. You have chosen certain experiences within negative reality, but that's not your choice right now. You are choosing, and the whole of humanity is choosing to see what you could call the negativity that is often hidden in darkness, shrouded in secrecy. You are choosing to be the rising tide and to bring your energies up, 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 and to come down and cleanse, if you like, that tide that comes upon the shore of consciousness and sweeps away all kinds of bits and pieces of negativity, all sorts of attempts to resist that tide, but they are as nothing in the face of the divine presence that is within you, coming forward, becoming ever stronger, and realizing that all of humanity is that tide. And sometimes the beings are just behind you, but they're all caught up in this rising tide. They're all caught up in the highest good for all, the divine plan for the creation of a new reality, for the evolution of human souls. And the time for pain and suffering, for cruelty and abuse, for negativity and darkness of consciousness, the inability to see is over. And the powers are coming in and being granted to you from within, from the divine source, to be able to see clearly. And when you ask for that insight, it comes. So feel very sure and very safe and very held. Feel that you are, in a sense, within a drop of that water, of that vast tide, and that you are connected to all the drops that are the souls that make up the oneness, as this divine plan rises up to be expressed, to come to the shore of your world. And feel inside you this affirmation for your life. I am the rising tide of divine consciousness coming forward into the world. I feel the vastness of my connection with divine source and with all of humanity. I relax, I lay back, and I am lifted up in the beauty of divine presence, the greatest power of creation arriving now upon the shores of the earth. From the vast waves that are the cosmic consciousness rolling in, lifting up the frequency of humanity, remembering who we truly are, each and every one who choose to incarnate in a physical body here upon the earth. For this tide is a tide of light. It is unstoppable. It is coming forward from the source of creation. And you are the emotional bodies that bring that light into the feeling, into the heart, that bring that light into manifestation of new forms of truth and beauty, of love, peace, of joy and compassion, of abundance for all here upon the earth. And within that great tide is every variety, every color, every skill, every talent, every race, every nation, all part of the growing, ascended consciousness coming in the evolution of humankind. So we give thanks today for your being, for all your guides and helpers, for you being part of this rising of consciousness. And we call for the support for you in your process as you let go and feel yourself lifted up and feel the affirmations that bring your faith for yourself and your connection directly to the divine source. Giving thanks today and all days for the opportunities that come to you for initiation, to lift yourself up and to lift up all those around you in the positive vision of the creation of a new reality here upon the earth. Blessings and peace, dear ones.